All right, folks. So great topic tonight, anticipation. I thank you all for joining me on this lovely Monday night, the 20th of June, halfway point of the season. And for those playing at home, watching this YouTube clip that I've recorded and posted for our benefit, we're talking about anticipation in our great game. So things can happen, and there's a couple of things that we've reeled off around anticipating the ball deviating to the boundary line, anticipating where the ball gets, they play on quickly, anticipating where to position ourselves after a kick out from behind. Really important that we work together in our teamwork, that you establish what that's going to look like as a kick out from behind, and using your number two to take up the next act contest. When you want to hand over, the ball kicks wide outside over the heads of us in the 50-metre arc. So I want to talk about, I want to show a video that I will post in the comment sections of my YouTube clip. We're going to freeze frame this one. I'm just hoping to let me know, folks, if my screen is shared. Darren, can you see my screen with YouTube? Should be a video clip.
No, not yet.
Let me try again, make sure we've got it. Helps if I share screen.
There we go.
And goes to YouTube, which is in Messenger. I've put it in a chat. So position, we talked about this already. Where do we position ourselves? So we must anticipate and then obviously back ourselves in. So I just want to show you where in position. I know this is, I'm going to freeze frame a lot of this, folks. So looking at the kicker, obviously McDonald's sign, Bank SA people kind of where those players are, that's very blurry, I know, but looking at the mid-zone umpire in this case, he's in green, running to your, your right of screen. The ball's been kicked already, and so they already know, they've already gone, they're already 10, 15 metres ahead of the kick, having to be kicked downfield. They're not side on in this respect to the where the kicker is. They've already left the area. And then they're squared off in this kicker here scenario to pay that mark. But they also anticipate they play it on quickly. We've already discussed this. And they're going to kick it even further north because this is in the mid-zone example. He stuffs up the kick. He stuffs up the kick comes back exactly where he was before. And I know what you're going to say, Roy. He should have just stayed at the McDonald's sign, right? Many of us don't even get out of the centre square. And so in this case, it seems like unnecessary running. But I want to reiterate that distance from player, right? In this case, it's the square line kick-off area, probably 20, 25 metres away. He's anticipated that the player is going to go to the northern screen. They've stuffed up the kick. So all we need to do now is focus on the southern end of the ground, left of screen, to see that the kicker is headed that way.
You see, I've mastered the art of unnecessary running. I've learned that I don't need to do that.
Yeah. And so then he's seen a free kick here. Obviously, he's got one arm up in the air, paying advantage. So we also, this is anticipating that the player with the ball, right, around the free kicks occurred for Centrals, and the other Central players picked up the ball and played on. So that was one we talked about tonight, where players, we need to be aware to call that advantage. Now, if they stuff up the kick, that's not our problem. We're anticipating they're quite within their rights to pick up the ball in this instance and play on to advantage. Even though you probably haven't seen it frame by frame, whether it is a free kick or not, I'm not concerned about. What it is us being aware around the packs to see, we can see that this player has picked up the ball and call the advantage. All right. So then we're talking about distance from position, but also distance from play. All right. So in this instance here, when I talk about distance from play, this umpire is not sucked in, the ball goes to ground, is not straight away blowing a ball up. Many of us will straight away blow a ball up. Let's just delay the whistle a fraction longer and the ball goes to ground, players mill over it, whatever. He deviates to the side where his, and if I took this in our example with two umpire, where do you think our other end zone umpire is going to be standing? Is he going to be left of us or right of us if I talk about an end zone umpire? What do you think? Left or right of us?
To the right.
It's going to be on the right, right? It's going to be on the inside 50, because this is on the edge of the centre square. And so we need to be mindful not to go too far right, because our other set of eyes should be there watching, for anything high free kick players blocking you, because there's a lot of players around us here. The umpire in this one, he deviates to his left. It's like a little hook turn, 2 or 3 meters to his left, but he's also not sucked in too close to play, is he? So that's key, to be anticipating where to run to, and then calls for a ball up. Now, this one here, it's important that we keep the distance between you. All right, keep distance between you and the contest. Why is that important, Shane Lloyd, for example? What do you think? Keep your distance between you and the contest.
Well, I'll probably find that the further I'm away, if I increase my angles by moving sideways, I'm getting better vision. But the closer I get, I haven't got that vision.
Peripheral vision,
Peripheral
for sure.
vision.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, this is like, what are we, around 10, 11 now? 10 games in, right? And coming from a player's background and a coaching background, how much you've had to work on this topic alone, right? The distance from play, coming in and taking up umpiring for the first time.
Yeah,
many players take it up and they follow the ball everywhere. They don't watch what's going on around the packs. And so things can happen outside of your vision if you're very narrow and too close to play. So this is what we'll talk about. We'll have a look at this one. Thanks, Shane.
Yep.
All right, so not a lot to see in that one, right? The tackle's pretty fair. Nothing to worry about from a free kicks perspective, but I'm just going to go back a touch. Not many of us. How far back does that person get? Oh, let's play it again. All right, just to show you where he is positioned, and I don't expect everybody to do this, okay? But it is one thing to best understand when we talk about distance from play and seeing everything unfold. The center circle, right, to the edge of the square, how far do you reckon that is, distance-wise, in meters?
25 meters.
About 25 meters, because the square is 25 by 25 now these days, generally speaking. I don't know if there's any other ovals that might not be, like Cove. Yeah. Depends where the circle is, right? Yeah, it does. It depends. We're not the center circle. This is what is this? Is this Prospect? I reckon anyway. But this is this center circle versus, what we've got on the weekend at McLaren. It was the other side of the cricket pitch. You go to Cove and the center square can't be 25 by 25. The 50s at these places aren't 25 by 25.
At Willunga, you're actually in the queue for the barbecue.
You're right. You're in the queue for the barbecue in Willunga. Great. At Christie's, Christie's a big ground, right? Huge ground. So he's worked pretty hard to get back there. And I'm not saying everybody should do this. It helps. The further you go, I guess the distance from play again, but we've got to be able to move left and right, because right now that Glenelg player number 35 is blocking potentially his line of view of the contest. So again, we have to adjust our position and be mindful. If we're just happy to, dawdle back, that we are going to see everything unfold. All right. Then he comes in for the ball up and big deal. Okay, so ball players, I've talked about this, head and shoulders and the ball. We've got to be able to see this to pay a free kick. There's a lot of players around the pack in this one. Right, and so in this case here, this umpire's had to navigate and push the angle to the left, which is inboard to where the mid-zone umpire would be in this example. Like the other umpire would be right on top of the square, outside 50. They've had to really adjust to not be sucked in to go to the goal mouth, because if they went the goal mouth, there's a pack of players there. So we've really got to be able to be mindful to adjust our position, navigate between the packs, and the free kick presents itself. All right, in this case, paid a high free kick. I don't know whether it is or not. I'm not concerned about whether it is or not. We're looking at paying the free. We must be on the move when we pay the free. A lot of us will pay a free kick, and then we just stand there waiting to tell everybody it's a free kick. All right. In this case, we're going to get the player back behind their mark, and then they're ready to play on, and that's fine. And we've got to run on towards where the kick is going to. So again, anticipate that's what's going to happen. Okay, found a free kick in this instance. And this point here, our vision is on the contest. And this umpire, whoops, I want to go back a touch. This positioning of the umpire. So here is the free kick. He's signaled. He's got a clear signal. In this instance, the umpire squares off because this is going to be a handover if it's a long kick, right, towards the minor axis. Yeah, if it's a short kick, he's just going to tap and keep that next active play. We'll just watch that. So he squares off here, meaning that he's side on to the mark and he's not going anywhere else. All right, he's pretty much telling the other umpire it's going to be yours without telling him. All right, and this one here is paid holding the ball. Now, when you watch it live in the YouTube link, the player drags it in. He sits on it. I want to ask Darren White, talk us through this similar scenario you had on the weekend, which we've already talked to you about. What do you reckon? What are we looking for?
It's a great decision by the umpire on the weekend and in the video.
I knew you'd say that.
I get that.
Obviously, you see the player.
It's very similar to yours, mate. It's very similar to yours, so I'll just put it in there.
Yeah, it was a good call out, Tomo. We can see that the umpire in question here was obviously side on to the contest and made sure that his visibility was 100% clear.
We can't guess, folks. We can't guess.
So he took out all that guesswork, right? So he made sure he could see perfectly, see the player drag it in. Didn't attempt to knock the ball clear. So it has to be holding the ball.
And the key to it is he took a little while, didn't he? He waited for Nana up in the grandstand to say, that's holding the ball, Darren, pay it.
Held the whistle.
Certainly did. Just delayed it. So it was obvious to everyone.
Okay, so we want to wait a fraction longer than we're already doing, folks. Make it clear. If the ball comes out in this instance, play on, but the ball shall be kept in motion. And the player's happy to lay on that or drag it in and goes to ground. It's a key for us. If the players want to go to ground, that's when we like ready and lurking like a shark in the water. No, ball comes out, play on. No, ball is wrapped up. He's not going anywhere. Happy to lay on it. And people will ball it up. And a majority of people on this call, I know in the past, you go, well, that's the way we've always done it. And it is something that we need to be mindful of, all right, and be clear. And if any doubt, then ball it up. Look at the flow chart in the team standards document, all right? Thank you, Darren. All right, side on means side on. So see what we come up with this one. Oh, yeah. Okay, so see where the position of the field umpire is. Now, obviously, from a crowd perspective, AFL perspective, getting out on the wings and being wide, seeing what the spectators see. But in this case, the ball was right there on the goal line. Goal umpire's straddling perfectly. Boundary umpire's there in support as well. This field umpire has a really good look at it. He's really wide outside, 5 to 10 meters outside the tram lines in this one. So it takes a lot of work to say, to get there in a 2 umpire system. But this is one where, this is a set kick control. Someone's been tapped through. Where do we position ourselves as number 2? A lot of us are still too narrow. We're on the inside of those tram lines. We all need to get outside the tram lines. The tram lines are between the point post to point post. It'll make life a lot easier to see everything unfold if we position ourselves outside those tram lines. Now, I'm not saying do what he's doing. That is a very wide and further away. We can be just probably a couple meters in, shorter than that. But as I said, 5-10 meters either side of the tram line will work perfectly. We don't want to get too close to players because of the risk of getting injured. All right. So make sure side on is side on. And obviously in this case, it becomes a a point and the kick out comes out. Don't worry about this. Is a 2019 rule where the person stands on the mark. We want to get them back outside 15-metre area. This one here, work rate and anticipation. If you got that, if you're willing to work up, you'll have a good performance. I'm going to let this one play. Look at him go. Probably the internet's a bit slow, but watch it on the YouTube clip. Again, he's got to work hard to get back kick. Maybe there's an incident there, FAD, a free kick of all, pay those. But high work rate, high urgency, high performance is where we were at in regards to, umpiring at our A-grade footy. It deserves that in what we're running around and umpiring this game of ours. So I'm going to stop the share for that clip. I'll put it in the chat for you to have a look at. I've also put it in the Facebook group. If you're on the Facebook group, I will put it in the commentary as well for our YouTube channel. Any comments or questions around anticipation, work rate, things we've shown or seen from the video, where to take up position, please speak now, forever hold your peace. Nothing. All right. If there's nothing to add,